Hi, I'm Emily, and welcome back to this week's News Bytes. This week's newsletter is called The True Vine. It is on John chapter 15, verse 1 through John chapter 16, verse 3. And I'll get started. From Eliyahu. Shalom, friends. Well, here we are. It's 2020, commonly viewed as the start of another decade. Actually, the 0 years are the last year of each decade. Not the first, but for the purpose of addressing common concerns, we will go with the majority on this one. Now, here's the big question a lot of people are thinking about. What are the biggest potential future shocks facing the world in the decade ahead? The latest Global Risk Report in 2019, published each year by the World Economic Forum, lists 10 possibilities as they see it. The report explains, as the world becomes more complex and interconnected, incremental change is giving way to the instability of feedback loops, threshold effects, and cascading disruptions. Sudden and dramatic breakdowns, future shocks, become more likely. In this section, we present 10 such potential future shocks. This is their list. Weather wars. Use of weather manipulation tools stokes geopolitical tensions. Open secrets. Quantum computing renders current cryptography obsolete. Tapped out. Major cities struggle with the ever-present risk of water running out. City limits. Widening gulf between urban and rural areas reaches a tipping point. Contested space. Low Earth orbit geopolitical conflict. Against the grain. Food supply disruption as a geoeconomic weapon. Emotional disruption. AI that can recognize and respond to emotions to cause harm. Digital panopticon. Biometric surveillance allows new forms of social control. We've seen this in China, if you look at Chinese news. No rights left. World diverging values where human rights are openly breached without consequence. Monetary populism. Independence of central banks questioned and responded against. This list is produced by the world's business elites and their most trusted experts. As such, it presents very real threats that are on the horizon, or already present but expected to intensify, which are mostly unreported to the common man. The general thrust of all this taken together does not present the rosy future so often sold to the public. Simply looking at these categories suggests an upcoming decade filled with shocks and problems unlike any the world has ever faced before. These will have the general effect of stripping ordinary people of their rights, their freedoms, their money, their homes, and sometimes even their food and water. Many people are expected to push back against the oncoming globalist, ever-present control, with the culture and class wars sparking new tensions and conflicts. This will bring on more oppressive control from the system in an effort to keep and expand their 21st century domain. The rapid expansion of new technology many are so enthralled with is not about giving all of us a lot of shiny new toys. It is about rapidly installing a globalist technocracy that is too entrenched and powerful to be overthrown. The UN goal, the 2030 Agenda, is to get there by 2030, and the world is already well on the way. And I haven't even mentioned Bible prophecy yet. You can see some of these free seminars at Tsiyon.net if you want to take a look at that. My point here, as we move into this intensified decade of testing, unlike any ever before known, the question is, are you ready? Let us take to heart this warning from Messiah for our time. So be careful, or your hearts will be loaded down with carousing, drunkenness, and cares of this life, and that day will come on you suddenly. For it will come like a snare on all those who dwell on the surface of all the earth. Therefore be watchful all the time, praying that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will happen, and to stand before the Son of Man. Luke 21:34-36. The only way to get through this intact is to stay plugged into our Messiah and allow Him to walk this out in our lives. Listen to Him, follow Him, obey Him. It's not hard. We can do it, but only as we live and breathe in Him day by day. I know I just said it wasn't hard. It actually is. but it's not that complicated as some people make it out to be. To help you with that, Tsiyon is here for you as sort of a compass to keep pointing the way through the darkness. As you look at the list from the Global Risk Report above, you may remember that Tsiyon was already telling you about many of these innovations over a decade ago, before those developments were commonly known. And we weren't wrong. Continue to be informed in advance. Please do your best to keep up with all the life-giving sap that comes forth from Tsiyon each week. We love you and we want to see you overcome. So, what's next? Well, on this meeting, E had a very timely message that speaks for our time. The theme was the true vine, and in that chapter, Yeshua, our leader, explained to us how we can succeed and come out victorious. And it was pretty cool teaching. But I digress. Tsiyon did release a lot of videos. There was the Feast of Daniel seminar, really foretelling a lot that was happening through our time. And it's not like because we have all the answers or anything like that, or that E has all the answers. But there is truth revealed in the last days. And E is the person who has been anointed for a teacher for Yahweh's people Israel. The proof is in the fact that if you do go to our website, tsiyon.net, you can find the seminars dated years ago, and a lot of the stuff mentioned in them is happening today. It's taken a while, but it is happening. And it reminds me, actually, in the same chapter the newsletter's on, Yeshua's words. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing. But I have called you friends, for all teachings which I heard from my Father I have made known to you. What I'm trying to say is, we are supposed to know what he's doing. We're not supposed to be running around like chickens with our heads cut off when all the scary things start happening, wondering what we're going to do, or expecting to be drawn up into the sky and just disappear. I mean, that doesn't really glorify God if we're not here to be a light unto the world. He also says, you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should remain, so that whatever you ask of the Father in my name, he might give you. See, we are called to bear fruit and to be a light unto the nations. Even though this stuff is going to happen and it's very scary. I mean, we already have the coronavirus. There's quarantine in China. It says right here, these will have a general effect of stripping ordinary people of their rights, freedom, money, homes, and sometimes even their food and water. And some of the quarantine zones in China, I have heard, are not getting access to food and water. So there's that. But anyways, the point is to not be afraid and to stay connected with the Messiah, nurture a relationship, and glorify God in the earth while we're here, so we can draw more people to him. Anyway, I suggest you watch this video, and I will link to the website like I always do in the description. And we also have one of our seminars on YouTube. So I'll also link to a playlist in the description with that seminar we have on there. So thank you for joining me. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know what your thoughts are. And you can watch the True Vine right here.